Today we create this button hover effect inside of CSS and HTML. To get started, let's create a button in HTML, and let's say every button has the text button, for example. Now we duplicate this button twice. Let's say every single button has the class of button, and let's copy that class and give that class to the other two buttons as well. And now let's say one of the buttons has the class of green, which means the button will be green later on. One is the class of yellow and one is the class of blue. And now we can style the buttons inside of CSS. First of all, let's create a general style for every single button. And let's say every button has a padding of 15 pixels to the top and 30 pixels to the left and to the right. So now it looks like that. We have a border of 0 pixels for every button, and we have a border radius of 3 pixels. Let's say all of our buttons are inside of a container. So we create a div with the class of container and our buttons are inside of that container. Now let's target that container class, give that class a display of flex and create a gap of 40 pixels. And now we have a nice gap between our buttons. Now for every button, once we hover over it, we want to give it a pointer. So now we have a pointer once we hover over the button, and we want to have a font weight of bold. Let's say we want to have a font size of 15 pixels, like that. And now we can create the different styles for the yellow, the blue and the green button. Let's start by styling the green button. Let's say the green button has a text color. Let's just say green, and now we use the color picker right here to pick a random green color, maybe some light green like this. We're going to save our document, and now we have this green text. Now let's say our button gets a background color that is the same background color we've used for the body, and now we have this background color here. So now we just have this text. And once you hover over our button, I want this button to increase in size and change background color basically. So let's target our green class and use the hover selector to define a hover state. And now once we hover over our button, we want to change our background color to the color of our button text right now. And now once we hover, we have the same background color, as you can see. Let's add a transition of all ease and 0.5 seconds. Now we also want to change the color of the text to white. And now once we hover, we have a white text and a green button background. The next thing we want to add is the shadow, which is basically a glow effect. And we can do so by using box shadow. And now we add a box shadow that has an X offset of 0, Y offset of 0, blur of 10 pixels. And we use this green color for the shadow. And as you can see, we have a slight glow already, but let's increase this glow. Let's duplicate the shadow a couple of times. And let's say we now want to have 20 pixels, 30 pixels. Let's add 40 pixels. And now we have this pretty strong glow, but this is probably a little bit too much. So we remove 50 pixels and 60 pixels and we'll see what this looks like. So that might still probably be a little bit too much. So we go to 15 pixels, and right here we go for 25, and here we go for 30 pixels. And now we basically have this glow effect surrounding our button. Obviously we could change this to 40, for example, and now we have this glow effect around our button. So let's do the same for blue and yellow. So let's just copy green and green hover and paste it in. Let's rename green to yellow. Now we can choose a yellow color right here. And now we can use this color and just replace every line where we have RGB of green with RGB of yellow. Now we gotta rename this here as well. And now once we hover over our button, we basically have this effect. Obviously, you could also say for the yellow button, for example, that you want to have a black background color. So now it looks like this. So that would definitely be an option. I keep it white though. And as you can see, we now have a green and a yellow button. And obviously you could do the same for the blue color as well. So we rename this one to blue. Yellow hover gets blue hover, and now we just change yellow to blue basically. We're going to copy this color again and we'll replace everything that says yellow with blue again. So now we basically have a green button, a yellow button and a blue button. And this is all you need to know to create your own buttons.